I'm a recovering addict. Y'all, it's good to be in a meeting. To the newcomer, I'd like to say welcome, stick and stay, and give yourself a break. It's no coincidence that you're here. Truly is a good program. And I want to thank the committee of GRCNA for inviting me here and allowing me to have an opportunity to be a part of my own personal recovery. I also want to thank my family from Columbus for coming to support me. And the Safrana area. Appreciate y'all. And I am nervous. I am very nervous, but I can tell you, thank you. But I can tell you that unconditional love is that's my topic. It's very, very, very important to me because I have learned so much about it, and I'm still learning. And I found out that it's really necessary. You know, love is one of the spiritual principles of the 12 step, and it's coupled with service. You know, being able to be of service shows my commitment to love. You know, I found out that unconditional means taking the conditions off without conditions, regardless of the circumstances, the situations, the feelings, the disappointments, or whatever goes on. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, you know. And love is that genuine concern, care, and intimacy, you know. And, you know, the literature said that we didn't come in here brimming with love. And I know I didn't. You know, and it also says that all of our attempts at intimacy ended up in a parody or a sham, which means they either our line or our plan, one or the other. Every time I got into a relationship with somebody, and finding out, you know, what love is was a difficult role for me. You know, I didn't get it. I didn't get it in the beginning of my life. So I never could recognize what it was, you know. For me, love was always conditional. Did you have some money? You know, did you have something for me? Did you make me feel good? You know, and I found out that feelings don't have anything to do with love, because feelings is actually something that can change. Soon as circumstances change, soon as events change, soon as people change, you know, those feelings will change. You know, I appreciate the fact that I had the opportunity to be in love, to be in real love for the first time in my life. Because before I came to Narcotics Anonymous, you know, I had several different relationships with different people. And I always expressed love, especially on payday. You know, and I always felt like it was real, especially on payday. You know, when they could do something for me, I always had some conditions. You know, I was like Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? I'm not talking about what you just did. I'm talking about I need something else done right now. And if you don't do it, I can't feel no love for you. You know, and I acted out. I found out in my fourth step that I was a bully. And being called that, you know, being able to identify that was the problem, it was big for me. You know, when I found out that I couldn't fight no more, first of all, I went to jail with 10 years clean on a domestic violence case. And I found out that in all my relationships, I was violent. Always. If I didn't get my way, all I heard was ding, ding, ding in this corner. And I went for it. I went for it, you know. And, you know, I had a complex being short. I always felt like I had to reach up, reach for something. Let's get some equalizers in here, you know, and win this fight. You know, and I was fortunate enough to have people in my life that really cared enough about me not to tear my tail up. You know, I didn't have a lot of guys that was abusive to me in my life, you know. But this last stint in jail. I never forget it, because I was sitting up in there with 10 year clean. I had 10 year clean, sponsee, working knowledge of the steps and the 12 traditions, me makers make it type person, GSM, some of y'all know what that means, I don't try to cuss no more, but GSM, if you don't know, ask somebody. And, I found myself sitting up in jail. And I was like, God, why am I here? And God was like, you always been here to heal. This had been your destination for so long, but if you don't change, it's going to be your permanent address. Because I went to jail because I threw a mug and I hit my husband so hard that I knocked out 2 of his teeth and busted both of his lips, and it happened just like that. And, I had got all these revelations in jail. God spoke to me and told me I need to learn how to love. And I was grateful. I wanted to get out of jail and do that. And I got home, got out of jail, got home. And my husband didn't get that revelation. He didn't get that one, So I'm up in there and I want to work a 12-step program now. I want to do this 12-step right now with you. And he was like, no, I want to beat you back. Because every day he had to look at the damage that I had done to him, and I had to look at it too, and I'm telling you, the process came, but it wasn't easy, and it wasn't quick. And I had to do some things like learn to take those conditions off of my love. I had to understand that he had a process that I had to learn to be okay with his process, because I was going through mine, but he was going through a whole different process, And I can remember him antagonizing me, and I found out that I realized that what he was trying to do was get me to jump so that he could tear my tail up, and I wouldn't bite. I was like, no, but no, I don't want to fight no more, And I remember telling him one day, I said, look, baby, I understand where you at, but you're going to have to give me 50 feet. I can't do this. I said I ain't want to go back to jail and I don't want to go to hell. But I ain't say I can't. I'm not well. I'm trying this. Trying something new. I'm trying to learn how to treat you and treat me. But I can't do it, by myself. And he heard me, but that didn't make him just change automatically, I had to learn how to listen to him, how to hear even what I was saying. A lot of time we talking and we saying things, but we not communicating the exact thing that we want to say to people. Like I was the type of person, I'd say, go on, I don't care, leave, go somewhere. Now, have somebody when you got here. When I really wanted to say, please don't go. Stay here with me, even though I'm crazy. I want you to love me crazy until I'm not. Because I'm scared to be by myself, And I learned how to go ahead on and say, I'm sorry. I apologize. Do you know how hard that is? Because I wanted to say, yeah, I'm sorry that you did this and that you did that, But I learned how to express exactly what was going on with me, And being able to learn how to do that gave him the opportunity to talk back with me, Taking the fear away, taking the conditions away, even though I was disappointed, hurt, loving him anyway. Even if he didn't do what I wanted him to do, how I wanted him to do it, when I wanted him to do it, for as long as I wanted him to do it. It's not an easy process. I'm finding out more of what love is not. That helps me to be able to understand when I'm wrong. my countenance says a lot. I got to be real careful how I'm looking when I'm talking to people, you know. Because people look at you and they see your face before they hear what you're saying. You know, it makes a big difference how I'm looking when I'm talking to you, because if I'm looking antagonistic, you know, then you're going to put your defenses up. I need to be able to be in a position where I can show love so that you can hear my love. You know, even if I'm trying to get honest with somebody, I was telling her Addie yesterday, you know, Mustafa, some of y'all remember him, helped me so much when he said that honesty without compassion is hostility. When he said that, you know, it made me understand that even though I'm getting honest with you, if I'm not trying to help you, I'm just being mean. And sometimes, you know, we can say things to somebody and it's so mean-spirited because we want to cut you up, especially if you hurt me when I'm talking to you. I want to hurt you back. You know, I want the room to look like a crime scene when I leave. You know, and I've lived like that. It's been just like that. You don't have to physically harm somebody to make them bleed. And people don't forget how you make them feel. You know, some of the things that were said to me even as a child, I still react to it today when I get triggered by it. You know, I can hear certain things and it remind me of a painful time, or, you know, when somebody else said something similar to that or acted that way toward me. So, you know, being real careful that I learn how to show love to somebody, you know. And I tell you, in NA, I'm learning that we give a lot of love to the newcomer, but give some time, that love kind of changes. You know, the newcomer can make all the mistakes and do all the little crazy stuff, and I love you, keep coming back. Get 10 years and act crazy. Everybody gonna put your name, you know. You on the billboard, you on the marquee, you know. Insanity featuring Carolyn. You know, everybody know. You know, I remember I had this problem one time. I had, you know, they say that everybody newcomer walk into the room. My newcomer came in the room. And he wasn't no newcomer. He had relapsed and came back. Everybody would treat him like a newcomer, right? And since I had time, they would treat me like I was crazy, right? And I remember when me and him broke up, people was coming to me and they were saying, well, he gonna be all right and you don't worry about it, you know. We ain't worried about you, Carol. We know you ain't gonna use, you know. And I'm like, I said, wait a minute. Y'all getting the newcomer all this love. I'm hurt too. We was in there together. I got some feelings. Well, y'all gonna love on me some. Don't leave me out, you know. You know, I mean, it's so many times that we have to understand that anytime you go through something that you ain't never been through before, you a newcomer too. You need that unconditional love. You need somebody to talk to you just like you just got here. Help you go get back to the basics. Help you get a clear understanding of what can I do now. You know, how the program work. Who's an addict? Help me. Don't leave me because I got time. You know, even with time in this program, we're going to go through stuff. We're going to find out that there's ways and means that we need to figure out what else we can do besides harm each other. How can I love you? And if you don't know how to love somebody, ask them. It's a lot of people that are willing to tell you, I don't need that. I don't need that. This is what I need, you know. And sometimes if you can recognize that a person is not being treated well, don't you be the one that also not treat them well. We could start a trend because, believe it or not, especially people with time, people watching. They watching how we treat each other. They not just watching how you treat the newcomer. They might be going around talking about, you love the newcomer, I like that. But they also watching how we treat each other with time. Do we have unconditional love for each other with time? You know, I'm very grateful, you know, to have came full circle with my husband. We went through what we went through, and just before my husband passed last year. But before he died, we had some years of being good friends,
Yes, sir.
of having unconditional love. And it was so wonderful that when he died, the love that I had for him and the love that I know he had for me sustained me through the grief. You know, it was awesome. It is awesome. You know, and I never had that. And I don't think that without this program, I would have ever had that. Because love is all the spiritual principles combined. I got to have some tolerance, some patience, some compassion, some sharing. I got to start saying they're mine. You know, some caring. It takes a lot, but we can do it. I know we can. Thank God for allowing me to share.
Hey, Thomas, I'm an addict.
Hey, Thomas.
Thanks for sharing it. I was just, I was thinking about when, I never get a good topic. I always get something different. I want something like the ultimate weapon is recovering addict or something like that. That's what I want, for unconditional love, and I like what she said because like up until recently, my love always came with conditions, you know, because it was what can you do for me, you know, and that's how I lived my whole entire life because you know I was talking to another person a while back and I found out by doing some work around here, like, because I always called myself a player back in the day, but I found out it wasn't that I was being a player, it was that I knew eventually that once you found out who I was, you was going to leave me anyway, so I just had to have somebody come in the back door to take up the spot that you was going to leave, you know, because I didn't want to be left alone, and I like, because, you know, sometimes we scared to talk about being alone, you know, because, like, even when I just celebrated 8 years clean Wednesday. And I say that because I never thought I could get 8 days. You know? And I remember my mother before she passed, she used to say, "When you ever gonna get this? Like, when you gonna get this?" And I wanted to say to her so bad that I'm trying. But I was talking to my wife, and she in the back room, and it's hard sometimes because you try to get honest, but one thing I find about this program is being honest don't mean hurting somebody else in the process of getting honest. You know what I'm saying? So I understand I'm not here to hurt nobody. But my wife, one thing she tells me is like, you always share honestly. See, I'm not one of them guys who come here and quote what's in the book. If you want to read what's in the book, get a book and read it. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Y'all told me to come here and share my experience, strength, and hope. You know, and that's what I'm going to try to do to the best of my ability. The hardest place to show unconditional love is in your own home. Because in your home, you got expectations of the other person that you're living with. And when those expectations don't get met, then they become resentments. Because you're not doing what I feel you need to do, but you may be doing the best that you can. Because I found out, like, since I've been here, and once you get some time, sometimes we forget about what the newcomer used to feel like. And sometimes we forget about being a newcomer. Because we get that time and we start putting our own self. I don't need you to put me there sometimes. Sometimes I'll put my own self there. And I was talking to my sponsor the other day, and I was like, you know, like, they gave me this topic, and like, what am I really going to share? Because right now, me and my wife are going through problems. But the difference this time, out of any other relationship I've ever been with, there was no physical violence, there was no cheating, there was none of that. Because in every relationship I ever been with, somebody was getting the cops called on them. You know, every relationship I ever been with, somebody got caught cheating. Or my favorite was every time I was always using. But this time it was different. And see, what I found out about this is, it's easy to handle the shit that you know how to handle, but how do you handle the stuff that you don't? Because this is all new territory for me. I can't speak for my wife. She got to speak for herself. But this is all new territory for me. To be able to see, because I'm used to the fighting and the arguing. I can do that. We can do that real good. You know what I'm saying? And yelling and screaming. But to just say, I don't know. You know? And I like what she said, like to be able to talk to somebody. And you know, and I think God always puts me in a position where sometimes I need to listen to certain things. Right. And like, because what I'm saying now, I should probably be saying to my wife.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And hopefully, that she know I do love her unconditionally. And if this marriage doesn't work out, I'm there for her unconditionally. Because in every other situation I ever been with, I was going to hurt you. We're going to get down and dirty. Whatever we got to do, but I don't want to do that. Because no matter through this whole process, she's been my road dog through the whole trip. But I come to find out that sometimes we forget how to talk to each other. And then by us talking, so I can't say us, by me talking, sometimes I'm saying something that you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. And you're saying something that I totally don't understand what you're saying. And I don't say that to be harmful or hurtful. I just say that to say that, you know what, this is a fucking process. But sometimes, with some time clean, I'll expect to be somewhere where I'm really not. I don't care how much I read. Yo, listen, I can read all the literature, do all the step work, do all the service work, but hurt me unless see what starts to happen then. Hurt me, and we got a problem. You know? Because the reality of this is that, you know what? This is just for the day. But sometimes what I do forget, though, for myself is I still hold on to resentments. Let me tell you what happened to me the other day. And there's a gentleman in my area, and he's one of these individuals, if you say right, he's going to go left. But he's got a substantial amount of time clean, that's what he says. I can only go by what you tell me. Your actions say something else, but this is what you say, so I'm going to go with it. So I'm in the meeting, and something was shared, and I sniper shared on his ass. Sniping on his ass. And the whole thing was, I was waiting in lane, like a lion in the jungle. I waited to prey on his ass. As soon as he opened his mouth, I was on him. So I called my sponsor, I called another recovering addict, and I'm like, yo, I did this, and did it. And the question was asked to me, why? Why? Why did you do that? Like, what was you hoping to gain out of that? You tried to shoot him down to make yourself look good. That's all you did. And I felt like that. Because with my good sharing ass and my good recovering ass, I still, on any given day, will pull out the guns and start blazing. At work, look, I'm one of them people, I don't care, you can break my enemy, I love NA. I got NA on the front of my car, I love NA. I love NA. Because this has been the only place that has ever saved. Listen, I was telling somebody, I tried acupuncture, I tried because, listen, when you're desperate, you'll try anything. You know what I'm saying? Get desperate enough to see if you won't try anything. And I was desperate. Because when you, listen, when you start, I tell my wife all the time, like, I don't know her story. My wife's a recovering addict too, but I don't know her story. I mean, I know the story she told me. Well, hold up. And I would say it in a bad way, but I lived my story. I didn't live hers, I lived mine. I was the one taking the TV out and selling the shit in the middle of the night. I was that guy. I was the one when the food stamps came and the dope hand had it before my kids had it. I was that guy. And I never want to go back to that again. You know, today when I actually wake up in the morning, I feel good. No matter how bad I feel good. But at work, I'm at work and I got a supervisor. I just started the job. And not just started. I've been there for a while. I just moved to this area. I'm from another area originally. I was in South Georgia. Now I'm in the Piedmont area now. And I did exactly what I tell my sponsees to do. I'm like, yo, raise your hand. I'm new in the area. Boom, boom, boom. Get involved. And that's what I did. Because what I understand today is we can talk and sound real good, but are we putting the footwork in that we're talking about? You know, and I try not to be that guy. One thing I am is an H&I type of guy. I love H&I. I'm H&I through and through. But do you know what? And this is where the unconditional love does not come in for me. I came to this area. I got involved with I tried to get involved with H&I. But because they wasn't doing it the way I'm used to doing it, the shit was wrong. The shit was wrong. And I found every excuse not to be part of H&I. So the other day my sponsor came up and he's like, you know what, I've been talking to you on the phone and I ain't heard nothing about H&I. And he knows I'm an H&I type of guy. And I said, well, I really ain't been doing no H&I, and because they doing their own thing. And he says, well, what? He said, well, what is that solving? Okay. Like, who's that hurting? You're not hurting them. You're hurting you. So I had to reevaluate that situation, and I, as a next area, I will be part of my area to try to be part of the solution and not the problem. Right. Because we talk about the internal and external controversy that could destroy you. And and one thing I do understand, if it's not spiritual, it's definitely not going to be practical. That's right. So I have to keep coming back, and that's why. I'll give a newcomer all the love and all the attention, and like she said, we'll welcome you back with open arms, and I'll be there and hug you to death's door comes knocking again. But be somebody I know. Be my wife and see what happens. Be her and see what happens. But thank God she's smarter and say, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, and she'll be like, because you know what? Because, hey, listen, you know what? It's hard to live in a house with two addicts. You know, to live in a house with two addicts. And then the thing is like, because we say we ain't trying to sponsor each other, but we trying to sponsor each other. Realistically, if you really look at your relationship, you with another addict, y'all sponsoring the shit out of each other. Yo, was you at that meeting? Did you see the shit just went on up in that motherfucker? Yo, you know we can't do nothing like that. We can't do that. We can't let people see that. We can't let people see that. Because you know what? We got that image that we need to uphold. This is our home. That sounds good for them over there, but for us, we need to do this different. You know what I'm saying? So I try not to be that person. Because you know what? The clean time feels great, but recovery feels even better. There you go. You know what I'm saying? You know, I love, because some days, my clean time is all I got. When I'm sitting there, and sometimes, like, my wife don't even understand this shit sometimes, but sometimes I'll be wanting to use, man. I don't, because people depend on me today. People depend on me today. You know, and like, it's funny, if you in my house in the morning, come 5:30, you're going to think you're the geriatric ward. There's so many grunts and groans and shit in the middle of the morning. I mean, because like things that used to twist, they don't turn, and things that used to turn, they don't twist no more. And but you know what? Like, we both get up. We get up. I'm starting to learn unconditional love. That little crazy little boy you see back there. This program has afforded me and my wife to adopt that little boy. Okay? And that's due to the fact because when we didn't think we could, because having felonies and having drug problems and wasn't making that much money, we kept coming to meetings and y'all kept saying it's gonna be okay. Y'all kept telling us you can do this. And it's funny because being that we in this area now, there's people from the South Georgia area that's here, and they see my son. They remember when my wife brought him home in a freaking carrier. He was about that big. And me and her joke about it that he's still alive. You know, he's still alive. We still joke about that. That's right. But it's still a work in process. But he shows us unconditional love. He's a mama's boy through and through. If it came down to he running to mommy, and I know that. Because you know what? I didn't have a role model as far. My role model was the street. You know, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and the dope man was the role model for me. The flashy car, the nice clothes, especially my mother worked 2 jobs and shit. I'm wearing freaking hand-me-downs and shit and thrift store clothes. You know, the dope man looked real good to me. And I look at that little boy and I say to myself, God willing, he'll never have to see that. He'll never have to see that. I'm still learning what unconditional is all about. I wish I said I had the answer. I really don't. I may be unconditional today, and tomorrow I'll be crazy as hell. So I mean, that's realistically. I'm trying to let you know, like this is my process. This is my process, man. And like on one day you may see the great recovering addict, and then tomorrow you see the man that's going to jail. Because I've been to jail clean. Drive around the state of Georgia without driver's license, see if your ass don't go to jail. You know, so because sometimes people see that we clean and they think that life is perfect. Life ain't perfect because you get clean. Because you know what I understand? The one thing I missed about being a newcomer, we let a lot of shit pass and slide shit. Right. But get some time clean, that shit don't work no more. You know? Going into Walmart and still shoplifting and shit, that shit don't work no more. You know what's crazy? And here's the part that I noticed growth on my part. I was one of the guys with my cell phone. If you seen this phone, you seen me. This phone never gets laid around anyway. Because you may be looking through some shit. But today, you know what? Because today, I'm trying to be a better man. My wife could walk around my phone in her pocket today.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Because at one point in time, that was never going to happen. If I went to the bathroom, the phone was in the bathroom with me. Yes. Because you know what? Because since I've been around here, it's like going in stages.
Yeah.
You know, I heard an addict share this a long time ago about at 5 years you start pulling your head out your ass. You know, because at 5 years I knew everything. I'm the great. Yo, listen, I can quote the book to you. I can. Man, listen, I can damn near walk fly and shit if you really want me to. You know what I'm saying? But things are starting to get real now. Things are starting to get real, like relationship issues, financial issues. You know, but the man in me, I'm not going to tell her that. I'm not going to tell you I'm scared. I'm going to tell you I'm doing what I got to do. I'm doing what I got to do. Me and her had a conversation because the discussion of separation came up. And God knows, I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't. Because me and that young lady right there, we've been through hell. and we still always, for some reason, come out on top. Always. We left New York City, swear to God, we left New York City. Well, we had our pocket about $130. Went to Florida, started living in Florida. In 2 days, she had a job. I think a week later, I had a job. But on the way down to Florida, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm sure the disease is so quick. On the way down to Florida, what we did at McDonald's, we copped dope in North Carolina, in a McDonald's. So the disease is everywhere. But we made it safe. We didn't have no money in our pocket. We stopped in the church's chicken. I think we had $3 between the both of us. The lady said, "Y'all want something to eat?" She gave us enough food for a family to eat. We didn't have a place to stay. Stopped at a hotel. Hotel man let us stay in the hotel. That's God. That's God. Every time that I don't believe there's a God, if I could really sit down and look at the situation, I see God all the time. I see him all the time. I don't know, man. I just know that I'm just doing this thing one day at a time. You know? And at some days I'm better than others. Some days I'm worse than others. I just know that y'all have been the only thing that's helped me stay clean as long as I've been staying clean. And some days when I go to meetings and I sit in the meetings and y'all sit there and say it's going to be okay, you know what? Sometimes that's what I need to hear. And I need some days for y'all to sit there and tell me you're fucking up. Because I found out, because I'm guilty of this too. I'm guilty of this too. If you got more time than me, I'm afraid to say something to you. Because I'm expecting you to have all the answers. Hey. So I could just imagine the person behind me probably feeling the same way, looking at me crazy as ever, but scared to say something. Because you know what? To show you how good I am, I'll throw my clean time up as a badge of honor because I'll defend myself with that shit. Yo, I got 8 years, I ain't got to make that many meetings no more. Because to be real for real, I'm in relapse mode right now. To be real for real, my meeting attendance done cut down. I go to a meeting once a week. That's because I got a commitment. I chair on a Monday night. I've been going to that meeting. But I love to come to convention, and it happened this time also. Every time I come to a convention, the fire gets lit just one more time. The fire gets lit just one more time. Every time I think that it's going down, I come to the convention, and y'all bring me right back up again. So now I can go back out there and run again. You know what I'm saying? Until I die out again and come back, and y'all gotta uplift me again. But listen, I know it's late, and I really ain't trying to hold nobody up. And I mean, I don't know that what I said made any sense. But I know one thing I did. I got honest about some shit with me. All right. And as long as I can do that, you know what? Tomorrow I got a fighting chance. But my name is Thomas M.
Love you.
All right, I'm gonna. Wait, here we go. Oh, let's stop that.